What if you could become the calm, steady sky and not the unpredictable, turbulent weather that passes through it? What if the emotional storms that feel so personal and powerful are not, in fact, you? What if you could learn to stand apart from them as a silent witness to their passing? This inner stability is not a gift you are born with, or a prize you must win. It is a skill you can forge through the timeless and potent wisdom of Stoic discipline. Overcome mood swings with Stoic discipline, compiled and published by Stoic Power. Lesson 1. Understanding Stoic emotional control. Imagine your inner state as the climate of a room. For many of us, that room contains only a thermometer. It is a passive instrument, meticulously and helplessly reflecting the temperature of whatever is happening around it and inside it. If the sun of praise and success shines upon us, the room feels warm, bright, and pleasant. If the cold wind of criticism, disappointment, or a simple chemical imbalance blows, the room becomes frigid, dark, and uncomfortable. The deep and often unspoken inner conflict we face is that we live our lives as these human thermometers, constantly reacting to the external climate and our internal biochemistry, believing we have no fundamental say in how our inner room feels. The painful problem with this way of living is that it makes us a slave to circumstance. Our peace of mind, our happiness, our focus, and our effectiveness in the world are held hostage by external events, the moods of other people, and our own fluctuating biology, things we can never fully or permanently control. This leads to a life of exhausting emotional volatility, a roller coaster of highs and lows where we feel powerless, out of control, and at the mercy of an ever-changing world. The transformative solution offered by the great Stoic thinkers is to stop being the thermometer and to begin the deliberate, life-changing work of becoming the thermostat. A thermostat does not merely reflect the temperature, it actively sets it. It has a desired, chosen state, and it works with quiet, consistent diligence to maintain that state, regardless of the unpredictable weather outside. The core idea is the foundational Stoic principle known as the dichotomy of control, a concept so powerful it can change your life overnight. This ancient wisdom teaches us to divide all of life into two distinct categories: things that are not up to us, external events, other people's actions and opinions, our reputation, our health in the long run, and things that are entirely up to us, our considered judgments, our chosen intentions, our deliberate responses, and the integrity of our character. A man who is a thermometer obsesses over what is not up to him, his peace rising and falling with every external shift. A man who is a thermostat focuses with serene, unshakable intensity on what is always up to him. The benefit of this is the dawn of true emotional sovereignty. You stop being a passive reactor to life and become the calm, active creator of your own inner peace. You discover a source of stability that is weatherproof. The actionable step to begin installing your inner thermostat is to perform a daily control audit. For one full day, carry a small notebook or use an app on your phone. Whenever you feel a significant mood swing, a spike of anger, a dip into sadness, a surge of anxiety, pause and write down the trigger. Then ask yourself this critical question: was the ultimate source of this feeling something within my complete control or something outside of my complete control? Do not judge yourself or try to change anything initially. Simply observe the pattern with the curiosity of a scientist. You might notice, my mood soured when a coworker was rude to me, external. I felt happy when I received a compliment, external. I felt anxious about a future event, external. By highlighting this crucial distinction over and over, you will begin to untangle your emotional state from the chaotic and uncontrollable web of external events. You will start to see, with profound and startling clarity, how much of your inner turmoil comes from the futile attempt to control things you simply cannot. This awareness is the first and most critical step toward learning to set your own inner climate, to choose your own inner state. I urge you to begin this simple practice tomorrow. View it not as a task, but as the revolutionary act of taking back the keys to your own inner kingdom. Understanding what we can and cannot control is the first step, the map of our kingdom. But how do we manage our immediate, gut-level reactions to the events that happen within its borders. In our next lesson, we will become skilled detectives of our own minds by learning to recognize our triggers and our automatic responses. Before we continue, please subscribe to the Stoic Power channel to join a community of individuals dedicated to the art of self-mastery and inner freedom. Lesson 2. Recognizing triggers and responses. Picture a great, ancient walled city, and imagine that you are the watchman on the highest tower overlooking the plains. Your solemn duty is to observe everything that approaches the city gates. Some visitors are friendly merchants bringing goods, some are harmless travelers just passing through, and some are cleverly disguised scouts from an enemy army sent to probe for weaknesses and incite chaos within your walls. The inner conflict we face is that most of us are fast asleep at our post. We leave the gates of our mind wide open and unguarded, allowing any thought, any impression, any passing feeling to rush in, seize control of the city's resources, and cause riots in the streets, all before we are even fully aware of what has happened. The painful problem is that this chronic lack of vigilance leaves us perpetually vulnerable to sudden and jarring emotional ambushes. A critical comment from a loved one, a frustrating traffic jam, a news headline, or even a simple fleeting memory can suddenly trigger a powerful and overwhelming mood swing, and we have no idea why it happens so quickly or so intensely. We feel like we are being attacked by our own minds, subject to sudden and unpredictable emotional shifts that we cannot explain or prevent. This makes us feel unreliable to ourselves and to those who depend on us, creating a life of confusion, instability, and reactive chaos. The transformative solution is to become the vigilant, skilled, and wise watchman of your own mind, learning to calmly and rationally challenge every impression that approaches the gate before granting it entry and power. The core Stoic idea, taught masterfully by the philosopher Epictetus, is that our initial impressions, fantasia, are not facts. They are simply scouts or messengers, reporting information to us, and their reports are often biased or incorrect. An impression might rush to the gate and say, "That person ignored you in the hallway. This is a social disaster and proof that you are disliked." The untrained mind, the sleeping watchman, immediately opens the gate and lets the disaster of panic, shame, and anger ransack the city. The trained watchman, however, holds the impression at the gate and calmly questions its credentials. "You are just an impression, not the thing you claim to represent. Let me examine you. Is this event truly a disaster, or is it merely an inconvenience? Is their opinion of me within my control? Is this fleeting moment worth the price of my inner peace?" The benefit of this practice is that it creates a vital, life-changing buffer of time and space between a trigger and your reaction. You stop being a helpless victim of your automatic thoughts and become a discerning, powerful gatekeeper of your own mind. The clear, actionable step is to start a trigger thought response log, but with a crucial fourth step. Divide a page in your journal into 4 columns. When you notice a negative mood swing, record it. In the first column, write the trigger, the objective, observable event. In the second, write the initial thought, the automatic story you told yourself about the event. In the third, write your emotional, behavioral response. And in the fourth and most important column, write a rational reevaluation, a more objective, calm, and wise interpretation of the event. For example, trigger, boss sent a one-word email, urgent. Initial thought, I've done something terribly wrong, I'm in trouble. Response, felt a surge of anxiety, couldn't focus. Rational reevaluation, an email is just an email. Urgent could mean many things. I will not panic. I will finish my current task calmly and then address it. By simply writing this down, you perform the powerful act of challenging the impression at the gate. You see the chain of events with perfect clarity. The benefit of this logging is profound. It reveals the hidden architecture of your mood swings. You will quickly discover that it is not the external triggers that cause your moods, but the automatic, unexamined, and often irrational thoughts that follow them. I urge you to begin this essential detective work this week. See yourself as a master strategist, learning the patterns of your own mind so that you can never be ambushed again. This vigilance protects our inner city from invaders. But a city must also have strong, well-maintained walls. How do we build the kind of mental fortitude that can withstand any prolonged siege? Our next lesson is on building mental resilience on a daily basis. If you find this idea of being a mental gatekeeper empowering, please like this video to help it reach others who are seeking this skill. Lesson 3. Building mental resilience. Daily, imagine a master blacksmith forging a formidable blade. To make it strong, durable, and reliable, he does not protect it from stress. He deliberately, skillfully, and repeatedly introduces it. He heats the raw metal in the searing fire and hammers it with powerful blows upon the anvil, not to destroy it, but to fundamentally strengthen it. The inner conflict we face is that we want the resilience and unbreakable quality of tempered steel. But we spend our lives seeking the softness and fragility of unworked iron. We crave comfort, we seek ease, and we construct lives that are as free from hardship and discomfort as possible, fundamentally misunderstanding that these things are the very source of our psychological fragility. The painful problem is that a life dedicated to the avoidance of discomfort makes us incredibly weak and brittle. When real, unavoidable hardship arrives, as it always does, we have no developed strength to meet it because we have never trained for it. We are like an athlete who has read every book on lifting weights but has never entered the gym. Suddenly asked to perform a feat of great strength, we shatter under the first sign of real pressure because our mental and emotional muscles have completely atrophied from a lifetime of disuse. The transformative solution is to become the wise blacksmith of your own character. It is to embrace the powerful Stoic practice of building your mental resilience through small, daily, and entirely voluntary doses of discomfort. The core idea is that just as our physical muscles grow stronger by being subjected to calculated resistance, our willpower, our discipline, and our resilience grow stronger when we deliberately exercise them against resistance. The Stoics practiced this by intentionally rehearsing future hardships in their minds, premeditatio malorum, and by choosing to endure minor, voluntary discomforts in the present moment. The benefit of this practice is that you effectively harden yourself against the inevitable shocks and arrows of life. You are building a powerful psychological immune system. By proving to yourself every single day that you can handle and even thrive in the face of voluntary hardship, you cultivate a deep, quiet, and unshakable confidence that you can also handle the involuntary hardships that life will surely send your way. The actionable step is to choose one voluntary discomfort to practice each day. This should not be something dangerous, harmful, or extreme. It should be small, safe, and deliberate. Examples include taking a cold shower for the last 30 seconds, intentionally taking the stairs instead of the elevator, fasting from a minor pleasure like sugar or social media for a day, waking up 15 minutes earlier than you need to, or choosing to work on a difficult task in silence instead of with distracting music. The point is not the specific act itself, but the powerful message you are sending to your mind. I am in control. I can choose to do hard things. My comfort is not my master, my will is. By consistently applying this small, daily stress, you are methodically tempering your spirit. You are proving to yourself through action that your desire for comfort does not have the final say. The pervasive, low-grade anxiety that comes from a comfortable, untested life begins to recede, replaced by the calm confidence of a man who knows he's resilient because he actively practices resilience. I urge you to choose one small, voluntary discomfort for this week. See it as your daily trip to the forge, the place where you build real, usable strength. We have now learned to build our walls strong through resilience. But a strong city also needs a wise leader who regularly reflects on the day's events to learn and grow. How do we cultivate this essential inner wisdom? Our next lesson will focus on the profound power of practicing daily reflection and awareness. Please comment below and share what small, voluntary discomfort you are willing to try this week. Your commitment can inspire others. Lesson 4. Practicing reflection and awareness. Imagine a ship's captain at the end of a long, arduous day at sea. Before he allows himself to rest, he sits down in his quiet cabin with the ship's logbook. He carefully and methodically reviews the day's journey, the course he charted in the morning, the unexpected winds he encountered, the crucial decisions he made at the helm, the errors in judgment he committed, and the small victories he achieved. He does this not to berate himself or to dwell obsessively on the past, but to ensure that tomorrow's journey will be wiser, safer, and more skillful. The inner conflict for most of us is that we are captains who never look at our logbook. We navigate the chaotic and often treacherous seas of our lives on pure instinct, habit, and unexamined impulse, rarely taking the time to pause, reflect, and learn from our own rich experiences. The painful problem with this kind of autopilot existence is that we are doomed to repeat the same mistakes over and over again. We get caught in the same emotional storms, we run aground on the same hidden reefs of our own making, and we wonder with deep frustration why we never seem to make genuine progress. We react to the day's events, feel the subsequent mood swing, and then fall asleep, only to wake up and allow the same patterns to repeat themselves. This profound lack of self-awareness is the primary obstacle to any real, lasting personal growth, leaving us feeling stuck, frustrated, and deeply disappointed with our own patterns. The transformative solution is to adopt one of the most powerful and time-tested practices of the Stoic philosophers, the art of the daily, structured review. The core idea, championed by Stoic luminaries like Seneca and Epictetus, is that an unexamined day is a wasted opportunity for growth. They believed that wisdom is not gained simply by having a multitude of experiences, but by consciously and honestly reflecting upon them. The purpose of the daily review is to put your own actions, judgments, and emotional responses on trial, not with a harsh and critical prosecutor, but with a kind, firm, and impartial judge whose only goal is improvement. The benefit of this simple practice is that it accelerates your growth exponentially. You turn every day, good or bad, into a valuable and insightful lesson. You become your own most effective teacher, systematically identifying your weaknesses, understanding your patterns, and reinforcing your strengths. The actionable step is to create a simple 5-minute evening logbook practice. Before you go to sleep, in a dedicated journal, answer 3 simple yet profound questions based on the teachings of Seneca. First, what mistake in judgment or action did I make today? This practice cultivates humility and clearly identifies areas for improvement. Second, what did I do well, or in accordance with my values? This practice acknowledges progress and reinforces positive behavior, building self-respect. Third, based on today's review, what is one specific thing I could do differently or better tomorrow? This creates a clear, actionable plan for the next day, ensuring continuous growth. By consistently engaging in this honest self-appraisal, you will stop drifting aimlessly through life and start consciously steering it with increasing skill. You will become more aware of your emotional triggers, more intentional in your actions, and more compassionate with yourself as you see your slow but steady progress documented in your own hand. You are no longer just the sailor being tossed by the waves. You are the wise captain, learning from every single voyage. I encourage you to begin this simple 3-question review tonight. See it as a quiet, respectful conversation with the wisest part of yourself. Reflection gives us clarity, but clarity without action can become sterile and stagnant. How do we translate this inner awareness into a tangible sense of outer peace and stability? Our next lesson is on the art of strengthening inner peace through deliberate, virtuous action. If you believe in the power of honest self-reflection, help us grow our channel by sharing this video with a friend who is also on a path of growth. Lesson 5. Strengthening inner peace through action. Picture a deep, powerful river, its main current flowing with immense, quiet, and inexorable force, moving steadily and unstoppably toward the great sea. The surface of the river may be disturbed by wind, rain, or passing boats, creating ripples and temporary turbulence. But the river's fundamental peace and power are not found in the stillness of its surface, but in its constant, purposeful, and directed movement. The inner conflict we face is that we often seek inner peace as if it were a fragile state of inactivity, a delicate, glass-like stillness that must be protected from the rough and tumble of the world. We mistakenly think that peace means escaping from our problems, avoiding our duties, meditating in a cave, and retreating from life's inherent challenges. The painful problem with this view is that it is a fantasy, and it does not work. A peace that depends on a perfect, stress-free external environment is no peace at all. It is a fragile illusion that leaves us feeling even more anxious because we know that the protective bubble can pop at any moment. True, resilient peace remains elusive because we are seeking it in the wrong place, in the absence of external chaos, rather than in the presence of internal order expressed through our actions. The transformative solution is to embrace the profound Stoic insight that true, lasting inner peace is not a product of escape, but a direct byproduct of right and purposeful action. The core idea is that human beings are creatures built for action and purpose. As the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself in his meditations, our fundamental nature is to be virtuous, to reason well, and to contribute to the common good of our human community. A great deal of our inner turmoil, restlessness, and mood swings arise from a sense of stagnation, from the deep, nagging knowledge that we are not living up to our own potential or acting in alignment with our own declared values. Therefore, tranquility, or ataraxia, as the Epicureans called it, is found not in avoiding our duties, but in fulfilling them with excellence, focus, and integrity. The benefit of this action-oriented approach to peace is that it is robust, sustainable, and anti-fragile. It is a peace you can carry with you into any boardroom, any difficult conversation, any storm, because it is generated by your actions, which are always within your control. You become the river, finding your stability and your tranquility in your own purposeful forward flow. The actionable step is to practice what we can call virtue in action. Each morning, choose one of the 4 Stoic virtues, wisdom, justice, courage, or temperance, and commit to one small, concrete action that vividly expresses it during the day. For example, today, I will practice justice by giving my full, undivided attention to everyone I speak with, making them feel seen and heard. Or, today, I will practice courage by making the phone call I have been avoiding out of fear. Or, today, I will practice temperance by abstaining from complaining for the entire day. By taking these small, deliberate actions that align with your highest self, you generate a profound sense of inner harmony and order. You are actively closing the gap between the person you want to be and the person you are in this moment. This state of congruence is the true source of the deepest and most resilient peace imaginable. You will find that purposeful action is the ultimate antidote to the poison of emotional turmoil and aimless anxiety. I challenge you to choose one virtuous action for tomorrow. Let your peace be a powerful, flowing river, not a fragile, stagnant bubble. Acting with virtue brings peace, but sometimes our emotions are so powerful and overwhelming that they cloud our judgment and make wise action impossible. How do we gain the necessary distance from them? Our next lesson explores the essential art of mastering emotional detachment. Please comment below and tell us which of the 4 virtues you will put into action tomorrow. Lesson 6. Mastering emotional detachment. Imagine you are standing with your face pressed just inches away from a massive, intricate, and ancient tapestry. From this extremely close vantage point, all you can possibly see is a chaotic, overwhelming jumble of disconnected threads, ugly knots, and jarring, nonsensical colors. It is impossible to understand the pattern, to appreciate the artistry, or to make any sense of the image. It feels overwhelming, confusing, and stressful. Now, imagine you take a few conscious steps back, and then a few more. With each step, the chaos begins to recede. The jumbled threads begin to merge, and the beautiful, coherent, and meaningful image of the entire tapestry reveals itself. The inner conflict we constantly struggle with is that we live our lives pressed against the tapestry of our immediate problems. We are so entangled in the threads of our current mood, our immediate anxieties, our pressing frustrations, and our ego's demands that we lose all sense of perspective. The painful problem is that this lack of perspective makes our problems seem much larger, more permanent, and more threatening than they actually are. A small, temporary issue can feel like a life-altering catastrophe. A fleeting bad mood can feel like a permanent state of incurable depression. This emotional myopia is a primary cause of volatile mood swings as we lurch violently from one overwhelming close-up experience to the next without any sense of the bigger picture. The transformative solution is to practice the profound Stoic art of cognitive distancing, to intentionally and regularly step back from the tapestry and view our lives from a higher, wider, and more detached perspective. The core idea is that you are not the chaotic threads of your thoughts and feelings. You are the calm, silent observer of the entire tapestry. The Stoics, particularly the Emperor Marcus Aurelius, constantly practiced zooming out to what is often called the view from above. This is not about dissociating from life or becoming uncaring. It is about seeing your life and your problems in their true context in order to diminish the power of disturbing and irrational emotions. The benefit is a profound and immediate sense of calm and objectivity. From a higher, cosmic perspective, the problems that seemed so monumental just moments ago shrink to their actual, manageable size. The mood that felt so all-consuming is revealed to be nothing more than a tiny, temporary cloud in a vast, endless sky. This gives you the emotional space to respond to life with wisdom, clarity, and grace, rather than with panicked, short-sighted reaction. The actionable step is to practice a 5-minute view from above meditation. Sit quietly where you will not be disturbed and close your eyes. First, visualize yourself clearly in the room you are in. Then, imagine your awareness gently floating upward, as if in a balloon, looking down on your own body, then your house, then your neighborhood, and then your entire city. Continue to float higher, seeing the curve of the earth, the continents bathed in sunlight and shadow, the deep blue oceans. Float further out, past the moon, past the other planets in our solar system, until our entire sun is just another twinkling star among billions in the spiraling arm of the Milky Way galaxy. From this vast, silent, and peaceful cosmic perspective, gently bring your specific problem or your difficult mood to mind. See how it appears from this vantage point. Hold that perspective. Breathe in the stillness of the cosmos and feel the weight of your burdens lighten in the face of such immensity. Practicing this regularly, especially when you feel overwhelmed, will fundamentally change your relationship with your own mind. You will learn to detach from your moods without needing to suppress or deny them. You will cultivate an inner astronaut who can, at any moment, access a state of calm perspective, no matter what turmoil is happening on the ground below. This gives you incredible emotional balance and stability. See this practice not as an escape from your life, but as a powerful tool for re-engaging with it from a wiser, calmer, and more effective place. We have now learned all the individual tools for emotional stability. How do we weave them all together into a single, cohesive philosophy for a truly balanced life? Our final lesson is on embracing Stoic wisdom for total, integrated balance. If you're ready to gain this powerful perspective, subscribe to Stoic Power and join us for the final lesson in this series. Lesson 7. Embracing Stoic wisdom for balance. Imagine a master weaver sitting at a grand and ancient loom. Before him are threads of every conceivable color and texture, bright, joyful yellows and golds, deep, sorrowful blues and purples, fiery, passionate reds, and calm, tranquil greens and earth tones. The novice weaver, in his ignorance, might try to create a tapestry using only the good colors, the bright and the happy, while aggressively pushing the dark and sorrowful threads aside, trying to hide them. The result would be a bland, one-dimensional, and ultimately lifeless creation. The master weaver, however, understands a profound truth. The beauty, complexity, and strength of the final tapestry depend entirely on the skillful and harmonious integration of all the threads. He knows that the dark threads provide the contrast that makes the light ones shine even brighter, and the coarse threads provide the texture that gives the whole piece its character and depth. The final inner conflict we face is our tendency to be novice weavers of our own lives. We are constantly trying to live a life composed only of positive emotions and pleasant experiences, while fighting against, resenting, and rejecting the inevitable dark threads of pain, sadness, failure, and loss. The painful problem is that this constant struggle against reality is the very source of our imbalance. By labeling half of life's experiences as bad and resisting them with all our might, we create a state of perpetual inner warfare. This constant pushing and pulling between craving for the good and aversion to the bad is the very definition of a life of mood swings, a life lived out of balance, lurching between emotional extremes. The transformative solution is to graduate from the novice's bench and become the master weaver, to embrace the ultimate Stoic wisdom that a balanced, beautiful, and meaningful life requires us to skillfully and gratefully weave all of our experiences into a coherent and purposeful whole. The core idea that integrates all of Stoicism is the powerful concept of amor fati, a love of one's fate. This does not mean being a passive doormat to life, nor does it mean pretending to enjoy pain. It means actively embracing everything that happens, the pleasant and the painful, as a necessary and valuable component of your unique life's journey. It is the final, liberating acceptance that the so-called good and bad are two sides of the same coin, and both are required for a complete, rich, and fully human experience. The benefit of this is the ultimate prize of all our work, a state of profound, unshakable emotional balance. You are no longer thrown off center by good news or bad news, because you see both as part of a larger, purposeful pattern. You can appreciate the joy without desperately clinging to it, and you can endure the sorrow without being destroyed by it, knowing that it, too, has a vital role to play in the magnificent masterpiece of your life. The actionable step is to practice a unified gratitude exercise. At the end of each week, reflect on two significant events, one that you initially labeled good, and one that you initially labeled bad. For the good event, write down one thing you are grateful for. Then, for the bad event, write down one valuable lesson, strength, or insight you gained from it that you can also be genuinely grateful for. For example, I am grateful for the praise I received at work this week, and I am also grateful for the difficult feedback I received, because it taught me the importance of humility and the need to improve. This practice trains your mind to stop segregating your experiences into good versus bad, and to start seeing your life as one unified, meaningful, and ultimately beautiful whole. You become the master weaver who sees and appreciates the necessity of every single thread in his creation. This is the source of true and lasting emotional balance. Not the absence of highs and lows, but the wise and graceful ability to hold them both in a state of grateful, purposeful equilibrium. I encourage you to see your life this week as a great tapestry that you are actively and skillfully weaving. Embrace every thread, knowing each has its purpose in your unique and beautiful creation. We have journeyed from understanding the principles of emotional control, like a thermostat for the soul, to weaving the threads of our entire human experience into a balanced and meaningful whole. The Stoic path teaches us that freedom from the tyranny of mood swings comes not from avoiding life's challenges, but from embracing them all with discipline, awareness, and profound wisdom. Thank you for taking the time to walk this path of self-mastery with us today. If this video has provided you with value, please like this video, comment with your greatest insight, and subscribe to the Stoic Power channel to continue your journey toward a life of unshakable inner peace and balance.